1 year ago today, I started a series called Space Engineers Colony Wars, a successor series to my Space Engineers Colony Survival Let's Play, which many of you loved. The aim of Colony Wars was to place 2 teams of 10 versus each other in a roleplay PvP format. I think we can safely say that the series definitely evolved over time to encompass more RP story elements, yet still keeping the original and much loved fast-paced PvP combat. Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack, and today I'm going to spend some time looking back on one of my favourite series which I have made, Colony Wars. As mentioned, the idea for this series was born out of my other series, Colony Survival. Colony Wars essentially became Season 2 of the overall Colony series, which is how I like to think of it. The premise started strong, 2 teams taking advantage of a Space Engineers multiplayer update to fight in a unique PvP scenario. 10v10 presented a new opportunity to survive. Instead of fighting the limited AI in the game, we instead had real players with their own tactical decisions to combat each other. While certain PvP elements in Colony Wars were scripted or planned to happen, it was great to have total random things happen at the same time. A few examples include the Caravan's attack on the Colony outpost and the DRF tank's attack on the Mars base. 2 unplanned events that no one knew was happening that turned into some amazing episodes of the series which many of the community mentioned they loved. Now, along with the serious battle moments, Colony Wars also made its mark through unplanned, hilarious, funny moments, including the Waffle Iron, the cars in the station, and the many more iconic moments. If you want to laugh at the series, I highly suggest you watch the Colony Wars outtakes video, which we released a while back. It contains some of the best moments that we sadly could not include in the series, for obvious reasons.
Bye, boys!
Crashing over the wall again.
I don't think it turns very well.
It's so low to the ground, the wheels are glitching into the floor.
Go!
Mike, watch it!
Oh,
Wait,
Jack,
Venom, stop!
Break.
Jack is actually damaging the base.
Is it?
Yes.
Now, to celebrate the 1 year anniversary for Colony Wars, I gathered some of the cast to discuss the series in a podcast style fashion and look back at some of our best moments. So, let's take a look. Alright everyone, I have gathered some of the Colony Wars crew here to chat about their favourite moments and for us just to discuss the series as a whole. So with me today I have Mr. Kraz, Mr. Finn, Mr. Castle and Mr. Finchy. Say hello lads.
Hello.
Hello there.
Now unfortunately we only have one representative from the drone team today, which is Mr. Finchy. Others were unavailable and couldn't make it, so Finchy, you are outnumbered.
God damn it.
Guess that means we won. So gents, it's about a year since Colony Wars started now. Obviously, Castle, you joined us roughly like halfway through, but wow, a year is kind of crazy to think about it, isn't it? Like a whole year since we started.
When was I actually joined in? Was like episode 37 or something?
You joined when we went to space. Was that in... That was around somewhere in January it was, because we split off December, wasn't it? We was split off in December, which is where we did the big ground battle episode, which caused a lot of controversy. And then we went to space.
Even beginning of January, because it was like January 11th or something we came back.
Why did we include... I think it's just because we bolstered our numbers we wanted to include Castle, wasn't it? And you said you'd be a good fit.
I keep forgetting we actually were on the planet and had a battle in the base there, and then we went to space.
I mean, we spent around about equal amount of time in space. We spent about 10 more episodes in space than we did on ground. I think. No, we spent way more time in space. Ignore what I'm saying. I don't know my own series anymore.
I was going to say, it felt much longer.
Completely ignore what I'm saying. Felt like a guy out of Death of Stalin. Just ignore me. Just absolutely ignore me.
I think we maybe got a wee bit more confused because whilst we were in space, we were also on Mars for a time.
Yeah, I think the Mars thing is quite good. I loved it when the teams were closer together, particularly when we did a couple of raiding things. I think one of the best episodes, I think Cass was here for it, but you might not have been at the exact session, was when the drone team brought the tanks over and we defended the ground base. Finn, I think you was doing it at Venom. And that was a real fun session to do when you had these giant like drone tanks coming at the Pioneer and firing cannons. It was really fun.
I think I remember that.
I was in space during that session. I wasn't on the ground team.
Oh yeah, because that's when we were building the
remember.
strike thing. That's what we was doing.
I may have been away from that one, but I do remember watching, I think, both sides' perspectives, and I do remember drunk and shitting a brick because a railgun passed by him by
Oh
like
yeah,
a
like
millimeter.
2 inches. Yeah, I remember that one. That was hilarious. That was a scouting one,
No,
the session
Castle,
before.
you were there. You were
Was I there? I do know that I've missed one recording, but I
We
have
were
no
You were
in
up
idea
in
space.
where.
space with us, I think.
It was when we built the big crossbow ship, the rotor gun ship.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the
we were
rotor-
didn't we build that afterwards for retaliation?
We was in the
No,
progress
we were
of
build-
building
we
it,
started
and then
building
they
it
attacked.
while- Yeah, exactly. We were building it before and then built it to the end.
Ah,
Yeah.
right, okay then.
It was
That's why
quite
it's-
fun.
That's why it
Oh, God, yeah.
fell apart at the start.
I mean, like the have you seen the thing that we're talking about, Finchy?
Yeah, no, I know what you're on about.
It was the
Finch
big
Giant
Giant
on the
rotor gun
receiving
that was
end
above
of
your
it.
base.
I think she was there.
We shot down.
like in concept, it sounded really cool, but the thing is, like, range was kind of a bitch to sort out. Or not range, accuracy was a bitch to sort out because like you're dropping a payload and there's a good chance it's not going to hit.
Eventually,
It
we
was-
lined up
Oh,
the
it
target
hit.
and got it to work really well. It's just I didn't want to decimate the drone team base because I thought it was a dick idea. And everyone in the comments like, "Oh my god, you should have absolutely wrecked them." I'm like, "That's just going to ruin the series."
Yeah, if we placed warheads on those rotor heads as well, then
Oh.
that just wouldn't be fun
would have
because we would
saved
dig
the
a
thing.
hole there.
The most accurate shot that came from the crossbow was the actual crossbow itself crashing into their base.
It's spinning round.
I was rolling with it because I was still in the seat. So I was like, screw it.
For dramatic effect, I placed 2 warheads on it in creative mode and detonated them, and it just looked hilarious.
Do you not remember
Yeah.
the aftermath when we were looking at Kraz, where we just found randomly among the drone base wreckage there was just like 4 rotors just piercing out of the ground.
Oh yeah, the actual rotor gun stuck out from the side. There was like a big hole on the side that we dug with it, and the actual rotor gun was sticking out of it. That was the parachutes did their job though, because the drone team started grinding down the thrusters and it was like shit, we're falling out of the sky.
So, gents, I want to rewind you back to a moment. Now, Castle won't remember this, but some of the early guys will. And this was the creation of a Waffle. So, if you direct yourself to our video player a minute, I want to
Oh,
show
yeah.
you where this came from. There's a lot of people wrote in and said, Jack, we love a Waffle Iron. We want to see more of it. So, let's just quickly watch this a minute. I'll click play. Everyone playing? Is it playing for everyone?
Yeah.
Excellent.
You haven't
So
clicked play
this,
yet.
I have. This is the creation of the Waffle Iron.
Oh, you've done it again!
I want to see. I want to see.
Come on, Crash, see this door.
Yeah, chill. Jack, I am sealing up this hole in the floor. It's too dangerous. It's killed me twice.
Jesus
Here to
Christ.
Come here, Jack. I release you.
Oh, no.
I thought of Pac-Man. I was like, fuck it. Let's play around with it.
And you wonder why we never won the ground engagements.
What's happening, Andres?
Tasty.
Ah.
I have no doubt how we were a lot more efficient.
Not even that.
Now I finally understand the waffle iron.
Everyone was like, oh, build the ship first, then the hangar. I was like, no. I'm building the hangar first.
This took a good 5 episodes for him to build.
It was worth it though.
I'm glad we got a big meme. This is what kills me as well.
It's just a clamshell going.
Ow! Shit!
What's the waffle iron?
So, gents, that was the birth of the Waffle Iron in a way, which has become sort of like a big meme / cultural icon around the Captain Jack community at this point.
The bit that I can't remember is just as you're asking him to shut it down, all you hear in the background is me just going, "Oh, he's done it again!" I don't actually remember what actually it was that he did.
I think I
don't.
must have smacked you.
I really
Alright.
liked that ground base. The early days of Colony Wars was some of the best, I think. Like episode 15 in that was when the series was really at the height of its power in a way. It was really fun
Yeah.
back then. And then you think how we made it to like almost 75 episodes, that was mental.
So bloody hell, how do you manage it?
That was the second base on ground we had, because obviously we
No, it was first.
no, so obviously thinking the original colony base.
Oh, okay, yeah, if we continue on Colony
Yeah, yeah.
Survival, yeah.
Because obviously I think it came to the point where we lost that base, then we started and we built that new base, then went and reclaimed the old base.
Yeah, we went and
Then
took
we
it back.
kicked you out of it.
Speaking of which, I think I can show you the next video in a minute, which is us attempting to retake that one, I believe. This might play. I just need to... Here we go. This is the timestamp, I believe.
Whoa.
That place
Here you
got
go.
fucked.
Oh my god, this.
Yes.
Oh, we're about to be hit. Brace for impact. We're
Jesus.
just taking major hull damage. Red alert.
It was actually good. It had heavy armor hull up on the top.
I'm trying.
See, this scene gets a little bit better in a moment when I realise what's actually in the rocket. Brace for emergency landing.
Can't stop us.
Alright, mobilise all fighters. Apart from Finn. Finn and Ivals basically get that thing off the ship. Kraz, get your gunboat over here. Red alert.
Okay, ammo or
How
not?
did it?
Yeah, we'll make sure it's loaded, you dumbass. This air of Conley
Well, I
Wars is
haven't
great.
been able to get any ammo produced
No,
yet.
load your own gunboat is what I mean. Don't
Oh,
worry
yeah,
about
yeah,
us.
that's loaded.
Oh, there's a warhead on board. Jesus Christ.
Oh no! Well, no, well, Brian.
Poor Ivals couldn't remember the
Don't
actual
well.
word.
He was like, what?
It is falling through the base. Our thrusters have been damaged. I can't remember. Was this also where we got laser striked as well?
I think it's
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, it must have been later on. I
That's it.
think when we were about to leave from there.
So that was obviously the first strike of a helicarrier. That episode did really well because everyone loved it. And I love that episode as well because it's hilarious to see the helicarrier be grounded by a giant missile. It was unexpected. And these were days of Conley Wars I liked it when a drone team did those unexpected things that weren't like, plot armor bullshit or anything like that. Generally was fun.
I loved that helicarrier. Me and Ival spent so much time actually getting it working. There were some great times in it, like for what little time we actually had it. Like there was one where when that was coming down, originally that was supposed to come down and it was aimed directly at like where we were piloting from.
Yeah.
The reason it hit the landing strip was because we managed to spot it when the guns started like blazing it ahead.
Yeah, I think you
and
backtracked
pulling
slightly.
back. Yeah, as much as I could.
I think we probably would have
Um,
taken up the bridge.
Oh god, yeah, and that thing would have just went down.
We're probably lucky it didn't detonate, to be honest, because if that warhead detonated, it would have ripped apart the entire ship.
We did have to do a lot to try and put that back together.
Shh, we didn't paste it back on.
No, we didn't actually.
I was gonna say, no, I think we had to cut it at one point because it clanged out and started sinking into the earth, which is generally an SE thing. And I think that surprised a lot of people with Conley Wars. We frequently had to pace in and out of stuff. And me and Kraz were talking about this the other day. Finn, you probably helped us with this, but do you remember the time where all of the rotors on the server suddenly started floating midair? So we
Oh,
came
God.
back to basically
What did they do?
Oh, so but you know the rotors, how they work in SE, like the waffle line flips back and forward?
Pistons.
Imagine
Yeah.
that, but floating to the heavens like it's controlled by some sort of spirit. We came into the server one day and the waffle line, it's like someone had been doing a fucking rain dance next to it, and everything was floating. The waffle line was floating, the drone team door was floating, all of it, the pistons.
You know the elevator inside the hangar? That was
had gone.
floating as well.
It was quite a weird session.
Everything was just fucked.
The amount of times me and my staff spent fixing the Conley Wars world, my Christ.
Oh, Jack.
Do you remember the time that we lost the wyvern and found it in the world? Like
Yeah,
3 days
so I think this
3
was
sessions
Finchy,
later?
actually, so we can say, fuck you, Finchy, shot the wyvern,
But-
but it smashed it to bits, and it went to crash land, and it should have crash landed and skidded on the ice, and probably would have taken damage. Instead, it just phased through. And so we managed to pull it back up through the ice.
What
I
have you
think
got
I
to say for
called it
yourself, Finchy?
Satan's asshole is what we called the Earth Center.
Yeah, that was the name.
Because we found shit there all the time.
Fancy that.
It's like it wanted to go there.
Didn't that eventually get renamed to the Krasl when we played Astroneer?
Yes,
What?
yes, it did.
Oh, well, that was Astroneer. That's not the same game.
It's just where all the useless shit goes.
There was another instance of when
There
the
were many.
bases when the base but when the bases would move, like the entire base would shift like 10
Oh,
blocks
yeah. That was the
in a direction.
original base, wasn't it? When we filmed the end of Colony Survival. So this is technically ties into Colony Wars.
Yeah.
When we was
Colony Wars
filming
as
the
well,
ending-
though.
Well,
It
was
happened
the
once to our base, to the garage, and it happened to the
garage.
the fake colony survival base that we had, or fake, but the one that we attacked at like the
original, yeah.
end of.
Hey, that was authentic.
Yeah, so it happened there because we figured out a way to fix it. We would look at one of the videos, see, okay, that's where it's at, take a block, and then try to like put the entire base on that block. But it was such a pain to fix each time.
Yeah,
It
that was great.
It was the original colony survival base at one point. It became like a ship and just basically started like vibrating against
Oh,
the
no.
voxels.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember
that
that.
time as well.
Do you have any input on this one, Finchy?
I think she was in Colony Survival.
Yeah, I was in it. I was in it from the start.
Finchy was
No,
one of
I know.
the,
It's just you said, "Oh no," and then obviously I'm an outsider, so I was, tell me a story.
Finchy was one of he's like one of the authentic members or original members from Colony Survival.
Hold up, I
I
think
know.
have
I'm
one of the
trying to get me to
pictures.
speak up.
Unfortunately, Jack couldn't get rid of me.
Well,
Unfortunately, wow.
Question is how
Well.
we're going to write him into the next series should we end up producing one.
Multiverse theory.
Yeah,
Where is
But,
my
Finchy comes
screenshot of
back, but he's
that?
like the G-man instead.
But something that's
Rise and shine, Mr.
going back
Castle.
to that missile strike one, it was actually hilarious filming it because Drunken was sitting on the nose of the rocket. He was the radar.
Wait, he was sitting on that one?
Yeah, he was sitting on top of that one.
Wait, so he died on impact?
Yeah, he was guiding it in.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember who was flying it, but that was actually our third attempt.
Moments were the spontaneous ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Like either if it was a fuck up, something amazing, or just something weird, it was just that was the best.
I'll
and
give credit
laughed
where
your
credit's
ass
due.
off.
Like during recordings, you'll forgive me for saying this, hopefully, but Bash sometimes annoyed the fucking life out of me. Looking back on some of the moments that happened, though, like the go-kart in the hallway, that was a lot of fun.
Yes, that was like one of the best. And I think, Colony Wars as a series as a whole produced some great stuff, to be honest. Like, we definitely had fun producing it. Like, when we was in the moment in recording it, we got there and we enjoyed, the weeks and everything. And I've broken YouTube now, whoops. And we enjoyed coming together every week. And it really was quite fun because essentially we joked at times it was like a 2-hour podcast. And that's what makes me and Kraz want to do a podcast, because we're kind of missing that. But no, like the car racing thing and then the dicking around the waffle, it generally was because we enjoyed having and making a serious RP series, but at the same time had a lot of laughs at just the most stupidest shit you could find. And even with the series we're producing at the minute, which we can't mention, it's not a Colony Wars Season 3, don't get carried away, we still have a lot of laughs inside that, and I think that's great and shows that, the spirit of Colony Wars is still living on.
I think for me, thinking back on it, one of the things that I loved, like the funniest moment for me, had to been when Ivals jumped the station.
Oh, yes.
That was
Don't-
unexpected as hell.
don't-
Oh yeah.
It was an absolute nightmare. Like in the spur of the moment, you're sitting there like,
Oh.
"You absolute donkey! What have you done?"
Need to ask Finchy because you were on the opposite end. Like, did you
I
see
know.
that?
Yeah, we heard about it. Because I think someone joined our recording room
That
and
was
said,
me.
We dragged
so-
you up.
No, I
yeah,
joined.
hold recording, someone's jumped the station.
It actually
It's
appeared
just
in
like,
the
what?
it appeared in the colony outtakes for our side, didn't it?
Yeah, I did, because I turned around. And that mistakes like that can even make me really laugh. And if I'm having a bad day, I'll get pissed off very easy. Rightly so, because that does disrupt the whole thing. And I remember I sat there and everyone was laughing, and I was like, for fuck's sake. I dropped the Discord thing, and I said, excuse me, I'm going to have to reset the server. Eyeballs has teleported our entire station. And everyone was like, way! Like when you drop a plate in a British restaurant.
I
Actually,
think we were just
How did he even
laughing.
do it though? Because
No, definitely,
a
like-
completely separate ship. Sure, he was close to the station, but he jumped.
I think it
And
just must have been a
somehow-
bug or something.
Can
Might
we
have
can we
been
stick on the
connectors.
outtakes and try and find this scene in particular?
Yeah,
Because
sure, I'll
I'm
grab
pretty
it.
sure there was a multiple reaction of, oh, for fuck's sake, and how did you manage that?
Yeah, I think there was a moment where I think it's both Finn and Castle both do for fuck's sake at the same time. I think
Oh.
it's when
No, it's when
Has anybody got-
Bash's ship attacks the station.
Oh,
It's just the in-sync Scotsman.
So, what's everyone else got up to this week?
What the hell? Why is there something? Oh, it's my.
It's the minor.
Boop.
Are you jumping the station?
What the hell?
Oh, no, fucking hell, idiots.
Connected.
and you could just hear the anger in my voice. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, you idiots.
I was
The
disconnected.
part I love the most is the fact you actually seen the vengeance in progress, and it just disappeared with it.
I mean, I
What I
panicked
love is
first,
before that, Bash is going, so how's everyone's day going?
I panicked first because I saw something jumping. I thought that was someone with the station or something, and then I realized, okay, it's the miner. And then he actually jumped the thing. I was like, fuck.
Again. Oh, Bash's ship is shooting up the entire station again.
Oh fuck!
Again.
I love you two in union.
It wasn't the first time, or the last.
That was great.
It's just so perfectly in sync. It's fucking unreal.
What people don't know is that we had about 2 weeks of Bash's ship shooting with stations. When it happened again, it was getting a bit tiring and repetitive. That's why I was like, oh, for
That was like the fourth or fifth time it happened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Right
that,
as we were
that
starting.
specific scene now. It was
Oh.
fucking ridiculous because it took out part of Venom's ship, part of Kraz's ship.
It took
Part
out
of-
like a whole section, like on the very first time, it took out a whole section of the ring of the
oh, it
Watchtower
did, didn't it?
Station.
Yeah, it actually took out part.
Yeah.
It took out part of the Watchtower a good couple of times, and I think it nearly shot the Vengeance, and Jack snapped at him for it.
Oh yeah, I went through the roof because I wasn't in a good
I
mood that
snapped at
week.
him.
No, it did. It shot the main battleship gun at one point, and you flipped.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
just
I-
fucking made that.
I remember that because I actually had to. I was the one, like, I'm fucking useless in this series because I think before I joined Colony Wars, my total hours playing Space Engineers was like 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember me and Finn having to teach you the basics of Space Engineers.
Yeah, and like for the most part, like 90% of what I was doing was just going over every block and make sure it was completed 100%. I went over that fucking Vengeance's weapon batteries about 7 times just because
it's
people
mental.
kept shooting at it.
And then the missile strikes came as well, the German missile strikes.
Oh yeah, that scared the
BS.
hell out of me.
Because like some people like to explain some things, because people might not understand. Some events in the series were planned for obvious reasons. Like we couldn't have these big engagements without informing the other team, because else it just wouldn't work properly when you're trying to create entertaining content. But the missile strikes, because they cause like minimal damage, we could afford to do them without, to scare and shit the other team up. Because realistically, one missile's not going to wipe out the entire team's progress. Yeah, it'll put a dent in it, but it's different from warping an entire fleet and blitzkrieging someone, though.
Just to expand upon that, though, people will also need to understand because like there will be someone that goes, "Oh, well, it's not much of a versus series." Fair enough, yeah, but like the one thing people need to keep in mind is like if you hammer the opposition that hard and you've lost no progress and they've lost all progress, it becomes a snowballing effect.
To be
Like
fair,
it doesn't become a very competitive thing where one team's sitting there setting up their 4th railgun and the other team's sitting there struggling to strike wood against together to make fire.
a lot of when it came to a lot of the skirmishes that took place, little mini battles and stuff, the only people who actually knew about it was Aaron and Jack himself.
Yeah.
We maybe got like 3 or 4 minutes heads up of, oh,
By the way.
by the way, something's coming up on the long range sensors, and then like a minute later, just blip, red.
I
let's say,
think my
alert.
famous things were like, hey, is that something over there? Red alert! A, because I love doing the RP stuff as well. So when it comes to it's like, yeah, I did know every aspect of the series to be planned. I mean, I was the writer and director, so therefore if I didn't know, we'd be fucked.
Aye, but like 90% of the crew's reactions were genuine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to keep it as well. Towards the end, myself and Kraz knew, because obviously Kraz serves as one of my head staff, so I kind of needed help with that. But yeah, only people who knew mainly were myself and Aaron, because that was the best way to plan things. And I know people are still like upset over one of those sessions where we had to reset it. That generally was because the plan around that didn't actually go to plan and fell apart a bit. So, several sections had to be redone in certain areas. And that wasn't the first time things had to be redone either, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I only knew like maybe 70% of the entire time. Like at the start, it was barely anything, and then later on, as we got bigger bases and bigger engagements and everything, then I mostly knew. But it was still not that often, to be fair. It was mostly...
The one thing I do remember about early colony recordings was Kraz constantly bitching about how he needs to record.
Well, I wasn't bitching about having to record. What was actually complaining?
You were
about?
complaining very whingily.
The thing I
Well,
remember about obviously the session that you were talking about where we actually had to re-record and that battle side of things.
Yeah.
I think one thing that a lot of people didn't really understand is one of the main reasons that kind of came about was whilst it was a valid tactic from them, like in terms of the original battle.
Yeah, it was 50-50 on
I'll
that
give
point.
it that. It was more down to the fact of, on our side, we had yourself, me, and Venom all on the Vengeance, all recording, and none of us should actually get a clear shot on them. So it was just a lot of us moving the camera back and forward.
Neither could I, and
It-
I was in a separate
It just wasn't it wasn't entertaining within that.
To
side of
put it into
things.
perspective, like a lot of people still say, well, that's legitimate tactics, like you said. The type of frustration that we all had trying to actually record that is like if you had a tiny fruit fly in your room and you're sitting there swiping at it and you can't quite catch it. It's like that, except in the visual aspects. Like we've seen split seconds of them, and then just as we've seen them, they bounce away.
It was a fruit fly with a portal gun, basically.
For a flat report.
I'll explain sort of my brief behind it as a director and writer for the series. While the tactic was legit and everything, the drone team should have never have known what the outcome of that was, because like I say, we go back to again where only myself and Aaron and maybe Kraz as the head of my team, and at one point I installed an admin on Aaron's team to help him out, only 4 people would have known where we'd come out of the jump point. Essentially, the idea was both teams would jump into the location and RP that they're looking for the green drone ship. Then whoever comes in first or last is going to be like, oh shit, we turn around and engage. Not for one team to lie and wait for the other team, because that suggests they know ahead of time, which therefore doesn't make sense of the story.
Oh, right, no, I didn't
or
know that
plot
at all.
altogether. Yeah, I explained that ages ago. I just don't think a lot of people like listen to my explanation behind it. And then obviously mixed then with the jumping tactic, it created a really off-balanced and very poorly looking cinematic thing. It looked fun on Aaron's side because his camera was sat there waiting for us when it technically shouldn't have been. So of course it would look fine because he knew where to put the camera. Meanwhile, we didn't. The camera we put was focused on the green drone ship where everyone should have been.
It's one of those situations where someone thinks, okay, this would make for a good scene, but didn't talk to the other half. Because, like,
Yeah.
I imagine if Aaron talked to you about that, you probably could have sorted something out.
Oh
that
yeah,
actually
like
worked.
stuff like that we could have done like ahead of time. You know, that's why, and Kraz can contest this. We spent like a lot of time planning these episodes, like weeks or months in advance. Like the final episode was planned down to a T, and the first episode was planned a hell of a long time as well. And that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, is because, as you know, I'm quite good at the logistics side of things. Is planning what we'll need, how many extra people we'll need to fill in behind the scenes, what goes there. And I enjoy that part of the series because I quite like doing logistics, but it's a nightmare at the same time.
I remember us going in, booting up the server, and just like me, during the night, just working on things, preparing areas or preparing ships.
Oh,
or
yeah, me and I
scenarios.
spent about 9 hours to build the episode 50 set. Eventually, the staff came on at roughly like 5 hours later and gave me a hand, and it was like, you know,
Oh, I
was
remember
the-
that.
That was the one where that was the first time that the drone team and our team had officially kind of looked
Seen
at
face
each
to
other
face,
from
yeah.
across the room without ships.
Yeah,
We
and I
we-
really liked it. I think when I look back at that, I'm really proud of how I wrote and constructed that episode,
Oh,
because
yeah.
not only did we get a very good story aspect out of it, I feel like the close quarters combat of us running down the corridors with the shotguns and the miniguns and the pistols was really fun and provided a more interesting dynamic. And when I look back at that, I'm really proud. But going back to my point, I woke up at 10, started building at 10 in the morning, started building that set because I was running late due to various reasons, and I finally got it finished by, we recorded 8, wasn't it? Yeah, I got it finished by 7:30 p.m, and I think I was putting on the final touches at like 8:01 just as we uploaded
yeah.
the server.
I think I
Yeah.
asked him, like, how many...
Because you got me in roughly about 4:30, 5-ish.
Yeah,
It
and
was
somebody else
like- it
started
was
to
getting
help
you-
him with stuff.
Like,
Yeah,
how many... If you had to judge it down, like, how many locations were there? Like, we had RWB
Oh,
base, we had the
that's-
drone base, we had the
there were
green
plenty of
base.
So let's count on one hand. Do you mean artificial ones or actual bases?
Places that people would put on a map.
Okay, let's say we got our own base on the ground side, which was the first one. Then we got the mid-team base, which is the old colony base, and a drone team base. That was 3 places. There was an outpost, which we occasionally visited, which is number 4. Then if we transfer to space, there was Watchtower's asteroid location, which became our main base. The drone team ground base. The drone team space base. Our ground
Article I
base.
played.
That wasn't really there. Oh, yeah, technically, I guess you could say it was there, but it was only for one episode. And then also about 10 or 11, I'd say. Round up to 12 just for the sake of it, because there was also a drone station. About 12 locations, which are all independently built. Because a lot of people don't know is I built the drone team's starting area, and there's always a joke between me and Aaron how I made their starting area look 10 times better than my own, because I love putting in those details. And when you look at the drone team's starting area, I really went to town on that. The amount of effects and fire and sparks looked really cool.
You told me to not remove floating objects when I came in like a few hours ahead just to help you with something. You were like, whatever you do, don't press remove floating objects in trash removal. I've placed components everywhere. It's like,
Because
okay.
I accidentally did it at one point and had to go and redo it again.
No, wasn't it me who accidentally did it
Okay,
before
it
you?
was you. I was going to save you the spare, but you accidentally did it and I had to replace it.
Oh no,
again.
I pressed it.
Yeah. And I went to bloody space and back over that one. But yeah, setting up sort of like Carnivals was really fun, and you know, I think it's been a great series overall.
Yeah, going back to the actual big station, because I think you started working on it, then I
Mhm.
came in and helped you for like an hour and a half or something because I had training.
Yeah.
Then Finn came, and then I don't know who else, but it was
There was
like
a couple
half
of our
the
old
staff.
staff members, came in and helped.
Yeah, half the staff team at one point was sitting and doing sections here and there. Someone was doing the main room, someone was doing a corridor, someone was setting the drones in. It was a whole just a whole staff team on
We
here was
essentially
doing
built a
all
whole
of it.
set for that.
Just
There
to
was
get the
There was one guy just doing voxel tools, just digging away.
Yeah.
just to get the drone side's perspective. Finchy, did you ever have to help out with any of the scenarios behind the scenes at all, or anything like that?
I think I did assist with some of the things. I'm trying to remember.
You helped
who-
with that episode, the one where we actually did the face to face.
The
Yeah.
episode 50.
But most of
Yeah, I think you were
most of sort of
building
Ian's
it for-
building was purely done by myself, and that's not me taking credit for it. It's just because that's how the series was designed. But obviously, we
No,
recruited certain
understandable. It's your
people.
server, so obviously you'd have like the most access to it. And if you've got free time, you know you can just dip on and edit things up.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause I know when we had that face to face in that base, there was quite a few bloopers worthy of things that happened. Obviously, we accidentally blew up the bunker entrance.
Yeah, I think we kept that part in for you guys, but I know we.
I
kept
do know that
dying.
there was a couple of overzealous drones. Like as soon as we came face to face, I seen some windows breaking as they were trying to shoot through.
Yeah, I also remember because we put the AI drones in, and I remember Kraz stuck his head round like the corridor and suddenly got pinged back into the other corridor because the Gatling gun. We kind of like put the big Gatling guns on, thinking, "Oh, they'll be fine," but no, but it was really OTT, and it's like, wow.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
the
and then I
fact
got a shield and heavy armor.
with shield, heavy armor. I think we're fine to talk about like some of the secrets behind
Yeah,
the scenes. Yeah, like we had to put down like 4 fucking medical stations going through that bit because we kept
every
getting
corner we
sniped
went
from
round.
behind. Like holy shit.
I think if I was thinking about this the other day for the new series thing, I'm sort of like, concepting. I think with stuff like that, we might have to run it like for those story things at least, we'd have to run it so all the key people are in invulnerable mode. So they're seen as like running forward. Then maybe get some AI characters to run side by side as who then fall down into the gunfire. That way the main crew technically survive.
Either that or it's like
Red
if red shots.
Basically.
Either that or like any scenario that has like automated guns from then on, you have someone on them. That way they can fault the aim.
Yeah.
That depends on how many turrets you
Or to
need.
set them to nerf,
True.
nerf guns.
If
Probably
you'd like
is a
to,
mod out
if
there
you'd
which
like to
does
be an
exactly
unnamed
that.
extra,
Yeah,
Call in
right
now.
in.
Yeah.
Call in on 077.
Raise a mod mail.
No, don't. Please don't.
To be honest,
Please don't.
I missed that base bit because that was like one of the more ground related battles we had. It was completely different from anything else we were doing.
And I think, let's say, if I do another series or something along that, I really want to bring home that sort of feeling because I love that sort of close quarters combat in SC. Also, rewinding to the start of Colony Wars at a minute, I really liked it when we had like a squadron of fighters on a carrier. For some reason, I find that grounds SC a lot more, particularly in Colony Wars. It put us in the combat focus a lot more. Now, of course, the off-balance trade-off was the drone team didn't want to use fighters and therefore didn't. They just made big ships right away, and that was a slight miscommunication thing. So we ended up making fighters, meanwhile they ended up making like battleships and going around OTT.
With Vulcans and all
Yeah, so basically our fighters were, like chucking, was it water?
that. Stone at a star.
by the way, if we're talking about like battleships, what was the one that was docked inside the Waffle Iron hang?
That
The
was,
Waffle
uh,
Iron.
gunship.
gunboat?
No,
Oh,
no.
no.
The
The
Waffle Iron Mark II.
Dawnbreaker.
Oh, the Dawnbreaker space version.
Dawnbreaker was a piece of shit. That
Oh,
thing would have
yeah, Waffle Iron.
that thing would have snapped down the that thing would have snapped down the middle if someone had a good shot at it. Like it was
I mean, it was an atmospheric ship that we had to convert to
it
space
was
in like
it
one
was
session.
so flimsy. Like I
To be
swear the
fair-
middle part was only held on by like 2 blocks.
To be fair,
survived, though.
the after section part of the after action bit that me and Kraz did, and people can go and watch this. I'll leave it in the description.
You can even put it up here.
Yeah, well, it's a bit long now. The Dawnbreaker actually survived to a point where it was still operational. Its reactor was still there, and the CIC had only been breached slightly. So me and Kraz were looking at still its entire CIC, which is in the center, operational. It just lost most of its weapons. So, it was still a sturdy ship, even though it had been taken from atmosphere to space.
Yeah, that thing actually made it pretty well. It was just it had issues. The turrets were messing around, which that was the thing that was with Bash's ship as well. For some reason, the turrets were all the right settings, but they would still either not shoot or they would shoot a friendly. Which I think the Dawnbreaker experienced that in the middle of that end battle, and we were just like, Lur, just do whatever you can. Just fly it.
Like, what is
just do something.
Yeah, I remember Lur
There's-
started shooting at me at one point, so in a cut-out section, I manually took control of one of the coil guns and just fired back at him and wiped off a deck of guns.
Was it not that Lur got hijacked?
No, it's a
No,
bug with the
no.
weapons. It's an ownership issue at SE Encounters.
Ah, right. I swear at one point there was like fucking Conrad sitting there like 2 miles out sniping people in a box that's just spinning.
No, yeah, that was Venom went and did that. Venom kind of cheated because we said no boarding, and Venom went and boarded.
He did get shot though.
Yeah, he got shot
Yeah.
by our own guns. Actually, I think it was either Finn or
I mean-
Castle that shot him.
The thing I found funny is about when it came to like Conrod's ship, it was basically just a lunchbox with 2 guns on it.
Yeah, I spent most
the
of my time
satellite.
firing at that thing when it was in range. That was
Well,
The
the
satellite.
funnier part was that no, it was an actual ship. There was thrusters inside of it.
Oh, okay.
Where his cockpit was, when you looked at it in Spectator, in front of that was the door to get in, and it was just sitting open. He just had a clear shot directly to the cockpit. So if you could like basically
thread the needle.
thread the needle or like Luke Skywalker like to the Death Star it, you would take him out and the ship with it.
Mm.
We're talking about this and reminiscing over Connells really wants to like make me want to start something new. But I think if I ever did like another series like Conley Wars, we'd have to change the dynamic slightly.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I'd been thinking about recently? It was back in Colony Survival. It was when we were just coming back in from space.
Oh yeah.
When Finchy, you'll remember this because you
Oh,
were.
good.
It was the you. What was the ship? Was it the Vanguard?
Vanguard.
Or...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the Vanguard.
Oh god.
Where that ship was
Venom.
supposed to survive. Finchy is docked on top of this ship, like landing geared on top of this ship. Coming back in, we'd run tests in a separate world. That ship was atmospheric capable. It's going down. It's not
Hello, everyone.
stopping.
My name's
It's not
Cam Jack,
stopping.
and
Finchy goes, "I'm out," and just like bails out with like just releases his landing gears and
Hello,
just like raises up, and we just like plummet and just smack into the ground. We're like, well.
And that was a great moments about doing series like Conley Wars and Conley Survival, is we had moments like those which were completely unplanned, unscripted whatsoever, which fit really well with the story and what we was trying to do at the time. Like Venom was actually quite upset and wanted to spawn the Vanguard back in, but like, no, that's staying in. We're staying with that now.
It was more the fact that it was like, well, that's that plan out of the window, so let's just like
Yeah. I
adjust.
was
and-
more annoyed because I spent so long trying to build that thing, and I was like, Venom, I'm going to
Oh, yeah,
fucking
no,
kill you.
You guys we had to retrofit that because that was a ship that we had found.
Yeah.
Captured. I think
Yeah, we
captured
spent
it.
like 10 episodes retrofitting that.
Speaking of captured ships, I do remember like the episode where I first started salvage, and for some reason that spawned 1,000 memes. That same
Oh, yeah,
episode, like
remember that
after recording, like for anyone who doesn't know, after we did recordings for Colony Wars, everybody gathered up in the same lobby just to basically say how recording went from both sides.
Yay.
I was really happy about the fact that I managed to find a ship that was so fucked that they abandoned it, but I was able to fly back, no bother. And then
You had
Correct.
you had like a strange knack for doing this for like someone who doesn't really play sci-fi games that as much or
no, that's perfectly fine. Like the name
Or
Mr.
had that-
Castle implies I'm more fantasy than sci-fi anyway.
had that much experience in space engineers. On 3 or 4 occasions now, I've seen you fly a ship that is technically beyond salvageable, and you managed to salvage a flight back to base from it.
For example, I think it's probably the that fighter which someone flew back.
Well, my
I think-
fighter.
The
Yeah.
fighter he flew back when it was like 15 blocks.
Yeah, the one I described as flying a tackle.
Half of it was missing.
A fair bit was. I do remember like talking about this in Escape from Mars. Like every time the story gets told, the number of blocks that ship actually had gets smaller and smaller.
No, I just every time we play this clip of that thing, I just laugh every time.
I'll give you to the count of 10.
Oh, that
Yeah.
one where I shot someone linked that in because I asked the community to provide
Yeah,
some
back
tips
It
for
took
Conley
me.
Wars.
It took me ages to fly that ship back. By the and I'm an idiot because I flew out thinking to myself, "What's this? What's this? What's oh, it's a broken ship." Well, I came all the way out here anyway. I'm just going to take it back because I flew over to this thing. It had no signal. I was like, "Is this the enemy ship? Is there someone attached to this? Can I kill someone?" No.
Yeah, no,
It
that was Jack
crashes the
taking my
fucking knee.
fighter.
Yeah, I took
against
Kraz's fighter out to combat like a warship, and obviously it didn't go too well. It was like taking a Viper against 50 Cylons. It didn't work very well. It got blown to bits. And then it came back, and I planted a warhead on it. I go, Kraz, I'll give you 10 seconds. I think I got to 7, and Bash shot it and blew it to bits.
Yeah, everything
Oh no,
disappeared.
you didn't even get to 7. It was I'll give you
No.
to the count of 10.
Yeah, I'll give you to the count of boom.
Just record scratch track. Zip.
That was actually a quite funny session. This is why I love like doing the series, because we ended up with so funny things like that.
Bash is a bloodthirsty motherfucker.
He was a
I
great
can't
addition
take
to the
out my
series.
allies. I will take out this abandoned ship.
It got to the point where there was nearly every for us when we recorded a session that kind of covered like 2 episodes. It covered the Friday and the Sunday episode for us.
Yeah.
But it roughly worked out, like especially in the later half of the series, that almost every session had just like this dump track of just moments where we just broke down in fits of laughter because it was just something had happened that was just hilarious. Mostly Castle's fault.
I will not apologize.
Or is it something which caused Castle to burst into a fit
Oh,
of
man.
laughter?
Yeah, if we all take a moment to say what our favorite parts of being a part of the series was, mine's was. I keep going back and rewatching the outtakes, and then just that 2-minute laugh track of just me losing my shit to God in the big gay. That still makes me smile so hard that my cheeks hurt.
Do you know that outtakes video? I think that came out at possibly one of the best times because I think you were going through quite a rough patch.
Yeah,
And
no.
it was more just a case of right, we're going to sit down. The outtakes are out. Let's sit and we'll actually just watch through this. And it was just you hearing your laughter, and it was just hilarious. You
Just set him off again.
it did actually set him off again.
Actually, were you were on call with me at the time, weren't you, Finn? So like Finn's hearing this laugh in fucking stereo.
I'm not here. Physically,
We
I'm
need
here.
views on this channel, not anything else.
Yes, Finn?
What the heck?
I thought you were pointing to a certain ship there for a
Castle!
second, Jack, and it's just what the fuck do you want, you
For
cunt?
God's sake!
Welcome to Bits we again can't broadcast. For fuck's sake.
I messed up my build.
Go fuck yourself.
Ah!
I'm still in creative mode. How brilliant is that?
Finn, you were saying.
Oh yeah, because I showed you like the draft before it went out publicly, didn't I?
I believe so.
I
Yeah,
think
you
someone
did.
saw
You
the
did.
draft, yeah.
You sent it in the Snap chat.
Yeah, and then I showed
You just
Castle
kept telling us
finished
for the
version.
longest time is like I've got like 5 minutes of outtakes and most of it's Castle swearing or
That was
laughing.
actually quite funny.
I
think the
do need to
outtakes-
apologize because like I know it can annoy some people, but I swear far too much, and it's terrible.
I think for the next series I might have to tone it down a bit.
Now, on one episode I was watching, I just absolutely burst into laughter when I hear, I think Kraz just made or called Castle something wrong, and all I just hear is Castle shout, "Oh, shut up, you daft!" Obviously, C word.
Ah, cunt.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it's
we're
like,
past for Watershed at this point of what we can say on this channel.
Yeah.
We're still monetized
Yeah,
and
so-
doing alright for the minute.
I'll need to get you to specify which part, but like there has been a couple of moments where like
I remember it as well.
Kraz has been a fantastic sport about it as well, because like I know from outside perspectives, like Kraz could probably agree with this if he actually watched the fucking videos.
Yeah.
But,
Did
anyone who
Hey, I
watches-
watched most of
no,
them.
you don't.
Watch a couple of them, don't you fucking like? We can go back to the
Maybe
beginning of
not
this
Mars,
podcast. You
but I
said,
watched
"Hold on a
College
second,
Wars.
I'll go watch some of the videos." Then
You didn't even watch
But,
my
like-
shodding update video.
Well, no, you
Like,
told me everything in person.
I didn't.
no, like from outside perspective, it does look like I just bully Kraz for randomness at times.
He
But
Yeah,
it
does.
is
but we
a case
love
of-
each other.
Yeah, and I was like, I do genuinely consider people here good friends.
I'm gonna kiss you at AJX.
Well,
I look forward to this Christmas's outtakes.
Point I was getting at there is like a lot of the humor is it looks rough between everyone. Like you will hear multiple people telling each other to shut the fuck up, but it's always in a friendly sense. I know that sounds a bit alien to some people.
I think during the entire thing there may have also been one or two "oh fucking blow me."
Nah, there has been like multiple cases of like. The reason I bring this up is because like most of the time it is me versus Kraz, and there's like I definitely come off the end of the series looking like a fucking bully.
To be fair, at the same time, Kraz is fucking great to sport about it, but he just makes it so fucking easy to laugh.
He does,
about.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I set it up on purpose because I like him triggering people, and then they like to do something back, and it's like,
Kraz, I can
Well, this
definitely
is
say
fun.
without question that your most uttered sentence in that series recording was, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
You don't like set it up on purpose. The Bing Bang Fuck scenario
well,
was...
okay, well, yeah, okay, that was completely accidental.
That's another
That
example
was-
of like the whole
That was
this scene happened
not
organically
planned.
type of thing.
that
like-
was probably one of the original castle broke moments.
Yeah, I love the fact that Jack was just sort of like helpless during that as well, because like he's trying to figure out what's going on with Kraz. I'm sitting there losing my shit, and he just sort of gives up halfway through. He's like, Kraz is floating away.
Yeah, it's like I think my ship was stuck. I was laughing my ass off because of something. And something. Then you asked something about Swedish, and then someone said "Bing Bang Fuck," and
Yeah, I
Jack was
asked
trying to
you-
help me. So it was like multiple things happening at once.
I asked you like, what's the Swedish translation for Bing Bang Fuck? And, like,
just
you-
remember-
Yeah, you didn't. I don't think you quite heard me. And then the first thing I heard coming back from you was something along the lines of like, I heard I've got many issues in the recording. It sounds something along the lines of like, I've got
I
a
have
few
many.
issues.
Oh yeah. You asked
But
me that, and I was like, I was flying back and laughing my ass off. So I heard it, but I didn't register it. So I said,
Yeah,
I have many issues because Jack asked me what's wrong.
and just like I could not stop fucking laughing because like the whole idea was just the image of your dad in Swedish falling down the stairs, just screaming, "I have many
Boom.
issues."
See, I was watching the highlights from the outtakes, and it's like, Papa Kraz fell down and says now he wants to be in a video. I still stand by a point. I think Papa Kraz should be in a video. He should be, if we do like a new Conley Wars series, he should be like the main villain. Just
Dude, you
occasionally
guys,
appears,
God.
like
anyone,
Lucifer
I
Man.
still haven't seen the Colony Wars thing where like apparently you can hear Papa Kraz falling down the stairs. Has anyone got
It's in
I don't
Sky
remember if we
Survival.
cut that out or if we just.
can't
I
remember.
forgot it.
We
Like you
might
said something.
still-
I think you said something about the fairies or something like that when you were on the ground or
We
something.
might still have the actual save file for that because it's on my old PC. So maybe we can boot a Premiere and see if that like still exists somewhere.
I'd fucking love to hear that sort of clip session. It's just like
I mean,
Kraz
you could
nonchalantly,
he
just like
literally fell. He did honestly fall down the
no,
stairs.
I know. I love the idea. Is like you can hear this in the background. It's like, oh fuck, and then all you hear is Kraz just nonchalantly going, "My dad's injured. I'll be back in a second."
Yeah, I think I went. Go on, Finn.
The funniest part was it was like, my dad's falling down the stairs, and then it was like 6 episodes later, we were still making the joke of, Papa Kraz is still at the bottom of the stairs. We just left him there.
Yeah, I heard that joke and I misheard it. I thought he was keeping Papa Kraz under the stairs like he was Harry Potter.
No. It was like we were doing something, and some people talking. Like I heard something like. And I was like, guys, hold up. I gotta check something. I think my dad fell down the stairs. So I went to check. It's like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just, I'm glad I didn't drop the plate. I'm like, okay, well, I'm recording.
That's
so
the
I'm going
highlight.
back. It was like, I came back. It was like, what happened? It's like, oh, my dad fell down the stairs.
If Papa Kraz was British, he'd be like that, if he's falling down the stairs, but he's still holding on to his pint, which hasn't spilled a fucking drip. That would basically be Papa Kraz.
But
It
yeah.
reminded me of the stop, you made me drop my croissant. Fucking like Vine from fucking yonks ago.
Anyway, to round off this sort of discussion, if you guys could describe Conley Wars with one word, I'm going to go from Kraz. One word to describe Conley Wars, starting with Kraz.
Good word.
Fun.
Okay, Finn.
Mission.
Castle.
Social.
Finchy.
Bonkers.
Jack?
I could say challenging. No, but I'd say adventurous, to be honest, because it was adventurous. I think where we started in episode 1 and then went all the way to 75, and just how the series changed as well. It was really interesting. But yeah, anyway, thank you to everyone for watching this thing now. I believe it's going to be an outro on this video, but gentlemen, it's been a pleasure being here today, and maybe we should launch the Captain Jack podcast soon, as this has actually been quite cool, sitting down for an hour discussing things that have been in the past.
With face cams and then.
Maybe we can
Definitely,
do that.
yeah. Although, I just want to point out one thing as you were doing the little epilogue there. I could hear a fat bastard munching a crisp.
What do
You
think
fucking know who you are.
Well, there you go. I hope you all enjoyed that segment of video, and many thanks to all those who joined me for this special recap of the series. I also want to take a moment and say once again thank you to everyone who helped me create the Space Engineers Colony Wars series, from major cast members to those who popped in to occasionally help us create a variety of episodes. Your contributions are always greatly appreciated, and the series would not be where it is today without you. And finally, a thank you to you! The community love and support for this series really overwhelmed me, and I'm still surprised by how many of you want to see a continuation of this series. It really makes my day when I hear a story I have created has a profound impact on so many of you, so thank you. To tease things going forward, as I'm apparently a master of cliffhangers, let's just say I'm not totally finished with the Colony series, and we might, and I stress might, see something new soon. Stay tuned. That's it for me today. Should you want to rewatch the Colony Wars series, do let me know if you are. There is a playlist link in the description below. Bonus points if you can tell me your favourite Colony Wars episodes in the comments section below. For now, I've been Captain Jack. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.